bucks. And Jack Tocco goes over to the comptroller and says, here's your 50. And now imagine if he's got 100 things going like that. There's 100 different guys got contracts for everything. Sanitation removal, garbage, bridge construction, road repair, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and never stops. So what they do, and then again, they control the unions, the Teamsters, the UAW, United Auto Workers Unions, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of votes. And if they want somebody in office, a mayor, a mayoral candidate, if they want a city councilman, whatever, they just put the word out. This is our guy. Get him in. And when that guy gets there, who do you think he's handing contracts to?
You hit the nail on the head, because it's not about getting the senator or even the congressman. It's about getting the state senator. It's about getting the state controller. It's about getting the local mayor, because those guys have juicy contracts as well. Okay,
big.
So we're doing a parallel versus New York. We could agree. Probably we'll give New York, we're being generous here, to the mid-90s, right, where they were formidable. After that, kind of fell off a cliff. Why did Detroit continue to increase, stay below the radar screen, still be strong? Why New York faltered, right? We could blame Giuliani. We could blame Joe Pistone. There's a few different things that we could unpack there. But how did Detroit avoid that decline, in your opinion?
You touched on a couple of them, Giuliani, Pistone, but really, if you really want to trace it back to one person, it's John Gotti and Sammy the Bull, whatever. That whole debacle right there. And by the way, Jack Tocco hated John Gotti because Paul Castellano was his Gumbati. That was his boy. He used to go out there and see him every year. He'd go to the White House, all that.
Oh, wow.
My grandpa would tell me stories. But here's what they would do differently. Here's the main reason. And I'm just a theorist here, right? Like anybody else. I'm not an expert here. This is my theory based on my intimate inside knowledge of that family and how it works. But you're familiar with the Ritz-Carlton hit. We just talked about it before.
But you got to share it, because it's one of my favorite stories, man.
Okay, let me give you an idea of the power and the depth and the magnitude of the Detroit Mafia's reach in this world. Try to grab this, because it's going to sound like it's fiction and it's going to sound like it ain't real, but it's real. So there was a black dude who was cultivated an asset by Toni Giacomo, the guy I was just talking about. He liked blacks. He liked to cultivate them and put them in the drug game, supply them with heroin, and say, he basically made Black Mafia family. Literally, that's who it was with Bill Usher. Black Mafia. So the one you're watching now on Stars was created by Toni Jack, and you could trace that back. So there was this black dude named Fiona something another. He was dealing with a Jewish guy who was a middleman for Toni Jack. So there was Tony's up here. The next guy down was this Jewish dude, and he was running this Fiona's guy's drug ring. So the FBI pulled over this Fiona's guy. He's kind of a pretty boy, and he's kind of famous because he had already married like one judge, and now he's married to a different judge. So I guess he's a player. So they pull him aside and says, listen, we know what you're doing. You're going to go to prison. We don't have an indictment on you yet, but we're going to get one. So you have a choice. You can work with us, or you can go to prison. Make your choice. And he kind of said, well, I don't want to go to prison. He's like, okay, so what is it going to be? And witness protection? And he's like, yeah, we'll put you in witness protection. He says, okay, listen, I got hundreds of thousands of dollars on the street. I got to go chase some money around. I need a couple of days. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to stay with you. You know what I mean? So they stayed with him a couple of days, and he runs around chasing him, getting his affairs in order. Meanwhile, as they're follow this closely, while he's getting his orders and his affairs in order, they're in custody of him, right? He is brought to a hotel, the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, in which on this day, down in the ballroom is a